I'm Brenda.
And I'm Megan.
And we're the badass babes of entertainment.
Let's be renegades, reckless, running through our veins. Let's be renegades, good for nothing, runaways. That girl got her own bag.
Thank you.
And you go by Josh, right? Or is it Joshua?
Hey, Joshua, Mr. Lastine, Professor Lastine, as my students would call me. But I'm pretty casual. Just Josh is fine for now.
Awesome. Okay, just Josh. I love that. So I was reading through, all this bio and information, and I was just like amazed
Oh gosh.
how much stuff you've done, and it's like so detailed, and it's pretty impressive, honestly. And we were just talking about the fact that you teach at a college, and that you're teaching at a film school, and that you're in a building that was where Elvis used to film. Is that correct?
Well, so yeah, I'll start by saying I'm an entertainment attorney by day, professor at a film school by night. I actually teach at Los Angeles Film School. It's a great school up in Hollywood on the corner of Sunset and Ivar. And that's actually an old recording studio repurposed as a school campus. And it's the old historic recording studio, RCA. I believe that it was called back in the 1960s.
Right.
And Elvis used to record there. The Doors used to record there. A lot of major bands. And actually the school itself has a pretty robust recording school program, in addition to the department that I'm in, which is entertainment business. They have its own separate entertainment business associate's degree. And I teach entertainment business law there, and entertainment business and media ethics to artists and producers, musicians, and entertainment executives who are up and coming. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting way for me to give back. I feel very passionate about the educational program, and in Hollywood is one of those interesting places where it's kind of siloed in terms of the jargon that we speak. Sometimes it sounds like we're speaking another language. Being able to get access to that education, kind of the behind closed doors education that you wouldn't get somewhere else.
Right. No, that's amazing, and it's very much needed because it is a lot. There's just so much, and everything is changing constantly in our industry, and so much so that one of the paragraphs in your overall bio that really caught my attention was that you have been working and dealing with some pretty cutting edge sensitive subjects, including dealing with the first full-frontal transgender nudity writer for television, and that was for Transparent.
Yes.
I thought that was amazing. And then, of course, we've got the sensitivities with talent and agents, and the intimacy coordinators now that we have. That's totally brand new, that we didn't have before, which was very much needed. And tell me more about how that is. Can you tell me a little bit about how that works? And
I would love to, because it's really kind of hand in hand with my story. I'm from Iowa, born and raised, small town of 300 people, middle of bum nowhere. Like Luke Skywalker on the farm, I always wanted to get away. I always knew I wanted to get off Tatooine and come to LA. When I got here in 2010, the industry was kind of suffering still from a writer's strike. We had the 2008 writer's strike. Things were still kind of relaying and bouncing back from the larger 2008 macroeconomic recession. I went to law school, but things were very much moving and shaking and changing even at that time. And when I graduated in 2013, 2014, I came out and things were kind of already in the throes of being very, no longer an old white boys club and being more inclusive. Streaming was burgeoning at the end of 2014, 2015, and really starting to hit its stride. Shows like Orange is the New Black was taking center stage. And when I took over and started doing work as outside counsel for Amazon Studios at a previous law firm, streaming at Amazon was just getting going, and Transparent was a cutting edge show at the time. But like the shows on HBO, like the shows on what would eventually be on Apple and stuff, they're able to show a lot more risque content in an effort to tell a better story.
Right.
So I was, in the middle of day-to-day production legal, and that's just kind of a term of art to say that I was the rodeo clown, helping the producers on set get all the paperwork done for all the actors and the set pieces and costumes and wardrobes and locations. But it is a very important role is in terms of negotiating directly with SAG performers' representations. I take that process very seriously, and most do to all of the studios, all of the streamers, the distributors, and people who put money in entertainment. We want to make sure that our shows are protected and the people on set are protected, and not only just from the simulated sex or nudity aspect, but even from a safety aspect. I say, every deal that I walk into, can someone get hurt in this deal? Can someone lose money in this deal? And if those things can happen, we need to be a little bit more buttoned up and on point. But sex in television has always been kind of a gas break thing. With the opening of streaming, there's been a lot more of it. Over the years, we've had amazing shows that have utilized sex and simulated sex to tell their story. Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank now. The one on Netflix about the 12 interconnected people. Oh gosh, now I'm starting to, and it was just canceled. Ooh, I just lost it. Do you know which one I'm talking about? Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Oh my gosh, on Netflix, and it was canceled. Yeah. Gosh, I read Deadline every day too, and I'm trying to.
No, this was a while back.
Huh. And it was like, you're like, I have to look. I hate it when that sticks in your head.
We'll find out later and we'll send it to your viewers. But the point is that, sex and storytelling is something that it moves a story forward for a particular type of story. And we want to make sure that everyone is buttoned up and protected. And that, to the extent SAG now, like you said, they're fully recommending. I don't know that it's a full requirement yet, but almost every show that I've worked on since 2016, 2017 has had an intimacy coordinator of some sorts, someone on set that's there to help coordinate and discuss these issues with the talent. I remember even, a story back with Stranger Things and the cast on that set. I believe the little girl from Stranger Things, that was their first real life kiss on set, and people on set had given them a hard time and teasing them about it and stuff. And in 2022, that's no longer going to be flying by people like me.
Yeah, because it's stressful enough, and these kids have to do it in front of everybody, and that's a lot. That's a lot of stress for sure. One of the things, as you were talking, that kind of came to mind, that we're really dealing with legal things and SAG and rules and different than, the state is different than what SAG's doing. It's the COVID protocols. Are you dealing with any of that?
Thankfully, I am not, to the extent that is my job to make sure that the line producers and unit production managers are going out and getting adequately staffed. We do have COVID supervisors. We go out and we get all the proper lab technicians. We get all of the tests and all the paperwork done. But thankfully, I haven't had to be too down in the weeds as far as the requirements of each particular section for SAG and how people report to set. I always say that destruction breeds creation. And as much as we've lost during the COVID of it all, we've also created, like the intimacy coordinators, like the COVID supervisors. We're now creating jobs on set to help make things more safe and make things more manageable, and take some of the stress off of the producers back and business and legal affairs, which is my department.
Our show's sponsor today is Roasted Luxury. And this coffee is so freaking good. I can't even begin to tell you. You'll never have to leave home again for coffee. And it's organic, fair trade, and small business, which we love. This is a good thing. They offer honey processed coffee, which means that the coffee is naturally sweeter. So you badass babes can add less sugar and have that second or third cup without the guilt, which we also love. Go to roastedluxury.com and use promo code BABES15 for 15% off your entire order. And you can feel good about helping a local business person who is also a badass babe. Yes. So thanks so much to Roasted Luxury for being our very first sponsor on Badass Babes of Entertainment. Yeah. Well, and one of the things I really liked about you when we first had a conversation was that you're so personable and you make it easy to understand, something that when you're reading it, it's just like, I want to pull my hair out because I'm like, oh my God, I have to read this 10 times to understand this. But then you can explain it and it's like, oh, that's what that means. Okay. Because the legal jargon is just so overwhelming and stressful. And so, if I was going to work with somebody, it's like, I don't want to work with someone like you that can make it easier to, comprehend and really understand what you're doing so that you can make an informed decision and, do the right thing. And I think that's, what we all want to do is do the right thing and be able to follow rules, within reason that, that's a win-win for everybody. So, and if you don't understand it, and you get overwhelmed by it, that's probably the hardest part of business. And as a talent manager, contracts every day and, oh, Lordy, and the fine print and it's
that is what my mom calls me, the fine print guy.
The fine print guy. And we need a good fine print guy. Everybody needs a good fine print guy that can help make it easier to understand because it can just consume you.
Well, and because of the different hats that I wear, from being a production attorney on the ground helping produce shows to being a professor helping try to teach entertainment law to students, to my individual talent representation, the actors, the models, the influencers that I represent, it is very important to me as part of my job to make sure that they understand the deals that they're going into, whether on the production side from a safety aspect, whether from the artist side that it's protecting their image, protecting their money, or with the students trying to make sure that they learn the proper ins and outs of how these contracts are read and negotiated. Being able to kind of distill it down into layman's terms is something that I've always felt pretty good at. And it's only gotten kind of better from working those jobs and working with people. There'll be often times where, we want to get a helicopter to set on a Saturday, and, we have to work very closely with a company out of Albuquerque to get it shipped across the United States. And we got to work with the truck drivers union and stuff like that. And we might have to work with a bank the next day. Wearing multiple different hats, talking to multiple different parties, hopefully allows me to be a little bit nimble in how I interact and how I explain things to people.
No, I think that's great. And I'm assuming, of course, in your class that you teach as well, that you are probably a really great professor because of the fact that you can explain it so well, and that it's easy to, comprehend and kind of digest and, be able to actually learn it as you go. So that's pretty amazing. I think I want to take your class.
Well, I'm sure my students would have something to say about that more. I, try to be as clear as possible, but in the age of technology and COVID, I have found that teaching from home for the last 2 years was kind of a strain. We're finally back in the classroom now, and I can be a little bit more lively, a little bit more active. I just feel bad for my students that kind of have to deal with the way that my brain works, because my law class ends up being a history class, an entertainment class, a philosophy class, a business class, all rolled into one. So you get a little bit more more than you paid for when you take one of my classes.
Well, and that's probably a good thing, because having some sort of context for why these laws exist and how we got here, you need that history, because obviously laws were written for a reason. And that's usually because something happened to roll that in or put that into place. And we were talking about the Elvis film and how his manager just took advantage of him and, made it about him. And Elvis had no idea, what was even happening behind the scenes. So he really could have used a good entertainment attorney, somebody else to bounce things off of, to go, yeah, this guy, isn't working in your best interest. You need to exit.
Yeah, I went and watched the Elvis film with my wife a few weeks back, and it was obviously a great film and very entertaining to watch. But for someone like me, it was very hard to see somebody be taken advantage of in that way.
Right.
Lawyers have a legal fiduciary duty to our clients. We have a legal mandate, and we're required by several ethics compliance committees to make sure that we're not steering our clients in things that wouldn't be the best financial interest to them, or that would
Right.
otherwise financially be advantageous to us against their interest. It's something we can be disbarred for. It's something that not only could we lose our job for, but we can also be sued in a form of malpractice. So there is higher standards for lawyers, but it is probably part of the reason why I came to be where I am today. I'm a 90s kid. I saw Jerry Maguire growing up. I saw what happened to Macaulay Culkin. I saw what happened to people, Britney Spears, and people in the late 90s, early 2000s. And being from small town Iowa, being a small farm kid myself, coming to Hollywood, I just really didn't want to see people getting taken advantage of.
Right.
And that's really, something that me and my law firm kind of pride ourselves on, is that, we're tough negotiators for our clients, whether it's the actors, artists, influencers, or models we represent, or on the ground, and making sure that everything's safe and making sure that everything's secure and buttoned up on the production side. So the Elvis film is just, I think, how do I say, very, very on point for where we are as a society, as more people are realizing, hey, I have a creative spirit. I can monetize that creative spirit. I just have to be a little bit smarter and savvy in the way that I negotiate that. And
Right.
like you said, read the fine print. So
Mm-hmm. Yes. And sometimes it's just nice to have somebody else read the fine print for you and explain it, because, yeah, we all do different jobs for different reasons, and there are just people that are much better at doing that than I am, for sure. And so knowing that there are people like you out there, to reach out to, that aren't, I guess, the stuffy, kind of, what you think of an attorney, and especially someone who really knows their stuff like you do, and can really dive into it and aren't afraid to take things head on. You don't expect that. You're like this young guy who's kind of hip and happening, and makes it a lot more fun to deal with entertainment law. So it's a good thing to know that there are younger people coming up through the ranks, and it's not just, I guess, the same types of people that you would expect, when you're speaking to an attorney. So that is, that's, I guess, you look more forward to it than you would, calling up someone like your dad and like getting the dissertation of, and all of a sudden you're falling asleep and you're like, 5 seconds, it's gone out the window, and I didn't comprehend a thing you said, kind of thing. So, so it's really nice. So So thank you for going into this industry for sure.
Well,
Um,
and that's the joke, right? We're not your dad's law firm. We're a cool law firm. We're a new
that's
hip law firm. But in all seriousness, we want to connect with our clients. We want to connect in a meaningful way. We're all on the same team in terms of we want to see a creative product made. I love working with agents. I love working with managers to help get a deal done.
mhm.
I love help creating creative problem solving. We say in our office we're deal makers, not deal breakers, because at the end of the day, we're not solving cancer. We're not
Mhm.
doing nasty divorce or insurance claims. We're making Hollywood deals happen so that people can consume an enjoyable media.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's why we all like being in this industry because, we do love this business and love what it creates. And, if you can have a win win situation in a deal that you've negotiated and, make people happy, I think that's what we all want, ultimately. So, for sure. So, what, I kind of want to dive more into you and kind of what your goals are and
Oh gosh.
you've been in this industry, you've worked for corporations within studios, those types of things, and then now you have your own firm and you're doing the thing. And so obviously you had that goal in mind, I'm sure, coming up through the ranks and learning and paying your dues and doing everything you needed to do. What's next? What do you want to conquer next?
Oh goodness, goodness, goodness. I think I did always have this goal in mind someday that I would open my own law firm, that I would go out and kind of do my own thing. I don't know that I ever thought I would be doing it this early at 34. But because of circumstances, because of the pandemic, because of the way that the world and the universe is shaking out, this just seemed to be like the opportunity that the universe was calling upon me to do. And as soon as I started going down this path in 2020, I just found more and more success at it and realized I wanted to take it to the next level. So over the past 6 months, we have been growing, we have been expanding, we have tried to start to build out kind of silos within the law firm.
Mm-hmm.
Between our talent representation department, who represents more traditional actors and actresses, film, television, commercial, to new social media actors, social media influencers, models, OnlyFans, other people who utilize their image in monetization purposes. So that's going to be one silo of the law firm itself. I'm also very into immersive content. I think that our industry is going to be very much a blend of going out and seeing a concert and seeing television and AR, VR, experiencing it all in one in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Something like the Star Wars fake cruise ship ride thing where they have cosplayers dressed up and they're in character the whole time. I think that is going to be a big part of our industry. So we're growing that sector of the law firm as well. So as we kind of build things out and as we bring on more and more attorneys, we're a staff of 4 attorneys now, 3 law clerks and 2 assistants and a social media team. As our team continues to grow and expand, we'll continue to grow and expand the law firm. I think that's going to be. I joke that that's enough to bite off for right now, but I also kind of have aspirations to build a giant film studio in Vegas. So we'll see
Wow.
if I get moving on that project anytime soon.
That's amazing. That's really, really cool. And, and great because we were just talking about Elvis and, it goes right in with Las Vegas and there should be more going on there. It just seems like a crazy town that there's always something happening.
I don't want to sound too grandiose, but Walt Disney has always been a big inspiration of mine. I would like to build the first giant adult AR VR theme park out in Vegas,
Wow.
and make it an additional part of the strip. So watch out, Vegas. I'm coming in 20, 30 years.
That's awesome. I love that. I love new ideas and things that haven't been done before. And and to see the passion, because you are obviously excited about what you do, and you probably just have one of those brains that does not shut off.
Unfortunately for my wife, yeah, probably. But life. From what we've seen from the pandemic, life is short.
Yes.
We're never guaranteed a tomorrow, and if you have a dream, if you have something that you really want to do, if you have something that inspires you, you should really go out and try to manifest that dream. I have found that in being a business and legal affairs executive, this is kind of my side of the table. But whether you're an artist, a musician, a TikToker, a YouTuber, find your lane, find your niche, find your thing, and just and make it yours, and go full steam at it.
Absolutely. And of course, you're a dog lover, and I have to bring that up because we're big supporters of the Burbank Animal Shelter. And I love it when I hear that we have dog people on the podcast. Tell us about your dog.
Yeah, no. So I have uh, a little girl named Chloe. She's 5 years old. She's a rescue out of Iowa. She's a little Pomeranian. And then her brother sadly passed away a couple months ago. My main dog Bentley, who's I'm in all the pictures with, he was a Pomeranian Collie mix. He was my best friend for a really long time. So we'll be excited, my wife and I, to get a house and get Chloe a little brother someday soon.
Yes. Aw, I love that. And I love that she's a little Midwest girl.
Yes. I'm from the Midwest. Chloe's from the Midwest. Bentley was from the Midwest. My wife is actually from Romania, so we're all LA transplants.
Wow.
But we're Santa Monica locals now. I've been in Santa Monica for over 10 years, and got the office in Beverly Hills, and don't see us leaving anytime soon. So.
Fantastic. So, and our last question that we always ask our guests is that we would like you to do a shout out to a badass babe in your world that has been an inspiration and has lifted you up on your journey to achieving your goals.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to cheat on this one. So Brenda, my mom's name is Brenda. I got it at least mention my mom first and foremost. My wife, who's a massive, amazing supporter of mine. She's my biggest cheerleader in everything that I do. I definitely couldn't do this job without her. And then my gal, Dee Pfeiffer, one of my clients. She's been one of my biggest clients and closest friends for the longest time. So Dee, I love you as much as well. So those three women for sure are my badass babes.
Oh, that is amazing. I love that your mom's name is Brenda.
Yeah. Funny coincidence.
Yeah, it's definitely an OG name. We don't hear that much anymore. Yeah, I love that. So I don't find many people that have my name anymore. So that's kind of crazy. And Dee Pfeiffer, I absolutely love her.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. And
Yes.
yeah, absolutely love the show. And yeah, I watch like religiously. And it got picked up again. Another season.
Yes, Big Sky season 3 will be coming out this fall. Dee Pfeiffer, she's great. She's hilarious. She brings life to the show. This season we also got Reba McEntire coming, which is really cool, especially for me being an old school country fan. I definitely had a crush on Reba McEntire when I was a little kid. And then they also have Jensen Ackles, who's coming off hot from The Boys. And the Winchester Brothers series. So it's going to be a good season. I'm really looking forward to how things work out for Dee.
That's amazing. And so tell us more about, for everyone who hasn't watched Big Sky yet, tell us about Dee's character real quick.
Oh, goodness. You're going to have to just watch the show. I don't think I can put Dee's character into words. You're just going to have to watch the show.
She's a pistol.
She's a pistol.
Some of her lines are just hilarious. I'm like, you don't expect it sometimes, and then it just makes you laugh.
She's the heart of the show. She's the heart of the show.
Yeah, she is. It's like she kind of keeps everybody together.
Yep.
For sure. Well, fantastic. Josh, thank you so much for coming on the Badass Babes of Entertainment. And I know we're going to be talking more.
Yes.
Because definitely want want to hear more about your class, and I need to learn more about details and new things happening in the legal world as well. And who better than to learn from than Joshua Lastine, Esquire.
Yeah, reach out anytime. You can find us on Instagram at Lastine Law. Super easy. And then our new website will be launched in probably a month or two at lastinelaw.com. We're pretty easy people to find.
Fantastic. And we'll have it in the show notes as well, and online. So if anyone is looking to find you to either hire you or take your class, or both, they can absolutely do that. And they can find us on any platform that you listen to podcasts, and we'll have those notes floating out there as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you so much, Badass Babes, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Josh. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
This episode was produced by me, Megan Ketz.
And me, Brenda Fisher.
Thanks to our Grammy-nominated sound engineer, Herman Villacorta. We have another amazing guest next week, so be sure to listen. If there's a topic you would like us to cover, message us on Instagram at Babes of Entertainment, also on Facebook, Babes of Entertainment, and on Twitter, Babe_podcast.
And now TikTok, Babes of Entertainment on TikTok. Woo, woo, woo. This podcast was produced by RSA Entertainment and Rogue Matter. Join the movement. Go Rogue.
Bad girl with a good heart. Lost boy got a fresh start. And she's my gasoline. Slick chrome on the Mustang. Drop top, no we don't play. 'Cause I'm her nicotine.